Namaste, everyone. Michele Granberg here. Welcome to another episode of Positive Energy, bringing enlightening television for your evolving soul. Sharon Silverstein and Deva Vidya are passionate about creating sacred space for women. They offer spiritual retreats, concerts, kirtan, and community gatherings that show women how to stand in their power and reach their fullest potential. Prepare to be inspired by these two powerful women as Positive Energy starts right now.
We are the way of the sacred. We are the way of the sacred. Stones speak of the way. Trees roots in the way. Rivers carve the way. We are the way of the sacred. We are the way of the sacred. Birds sing of the way. Flowers bloom in the way. Eagles see the way. We are the way of the sacred. We are the way of the sacred. Follow the way, honor the way, lead in the way of the sacred. Follow the way, honor the way, lead in the way of the sacred. Ancestors knew of the way. Ceremony held in the way. Tribes honor the way. We are the way of the sacred. We are the way of the sacred. Follow the way, honor the way, lead in the way of the sacred. Follow the way, honor the way, lead in the way of the sacred. We are born of the way. Take your place in the way. Answer the call of the way. We are the way of the sacred. We are the way of the sacred. Follow the way, honor the way, lead in the way of the sacred. Follow the way, honor the way, lead in the way of the sacred. Lead in the way of the sacred. We are the way of the sacred. We are the way of the sacred. Wankantanka.
I am so excited to be here with Sharon and Deva. Welcome back to Positive Energy.
Thank you.
We are so excited to be back here with you, Michele. It's always a pleasure.
It's
Yes.
always fun.
Yes.
I think we always have fun together.
Yes.
And so I love that you're here to talk about what's up and what's next with you guys. So what is the Way of the Sacred?
Way of the Sacred is a teaching and performance group. So it's consists of Sharon and myself, and then we have guest musicians that also join us. And we bring in the message of bringing back the ways of the sacred. So tradition, ceremony,
Retreats,
retreats,
workshops, performances, musical performances,
Yes.
as well as teachings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of the latest fusion of you guys bringing your gifts together and doing service in the world with those, and bringing sacredness wherever you
Yes.
go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We bring in chants from all over the world. So we do some beautiful songs from Africa and from Cuba and from the Native Americans, and then we've also been writing songs together in that genre and in that energy and that message.
So do you find that more and more people are looking for what you're offering, and that there's a calling for it? I tend to see that people are really seeking more sacred experiences, more spiritual experiences. So what do you recommend for people sort of just starting out? They're not familiar with what you do. What do you recommend for people? What's the best way to start?
I'm actually writing a book about that. It's actually called Way of the Sacred. Go figure. Yeah, so I'm actually writing a whole book about that and trying to help people who are just starting on the path for the first time to bring them onto this path. And I would say that when you first come to the path, it is tricky because there's so many books and there's so many teachers out there. There's so many ways to go. It is confusing.
But your book is laying out a path and steps to take, and one of them I remember that you were writing about was creating a sacred altar.
Yes.
That's a great place to start.
Mm-hmm.
So say a little bit about that.
Really putting yourself into it. What you find is the sacred that holds that feeling of the connection with divine energy. So it can be anything. It can just be taking beautiful, pine cones and rocks and elements from nature and putting them on your altar. Or maybe you bring in pictures of your ancestors or pictures and statues of deities and candles and incense. Whatever invokes that feeling of sacredness.
And taking a space within your house or within your camper, in my case, because that's my
You
home.
have the first sacred camper.
For me. And designating a place that's only going to be a place for your sacred objects and for your prayer, however that looks for you. People use meditation, they use actual, speaking. Some people stay in, silence. Some people sing, whatever it is. But just designating a sacred space in your home for these sacred objects that, to me, are triggers, positive triggers, so you can connect into your own divinity within yourself, and then connect to divinity in the source, outside of you.
Exactly. And the more you approach this altar, the more that you spend time in prayer and ceremony and meditation, the more it accumulates this energy. And so each time you come to it, it just brings, like Sharon said, it triggers, it just invokes that energy of connecting immediately with the divine.
Yeah, it's about creating intention. It's almost like you're leaving the world behind in a way and sort of entering into that space, that cocoon that you've created.
Yes.
And it does hold energy, of course.
I am in the world, but not of it.
Yeah.
Right.
As Jesus said.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then, using like a sacred object like mala beads, the rosary beads, same thing. That every time you say that same prayer into that mala bead or rosary bead, the energy of that prayer enters into that sacred object. So when you just pick it up and touch it, you automatically enter into that reverence and into that energy of it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I would
Beautiful.
say that that's probably the easiest place for people to start. And if that seems a little out there for you, then maybe just go to a meditation class, take at a yoga studio, or pick up a book on like Deva's going to write. And read about it.
There's some really beautiful books out there. I mean, I really am a big fan of Deepak Chopra. So if people just want to learn, he's got so many books and so many different topics. Yeah. I would say Deepak Chopra is a great place to start. And then that's why we also create these retreats, because the retreats are an entryway into learning this work and doing the healing and finding your way back to your divine nature.
It's a
Yeah,
way to
it's great to have
enter
someone to show you
into-
the way. The
Yes,
way showers,
That's
as you
what we
say.
are, the
Yes.
way showers. Yes, way
So
showers.
it's these retreats that we do are right now presently just for women, but we're moving towards, you know, opening these retreats up for men as well. But it creates a sacred container for people. It shows them how to partake in ceremony if they've never done that before in their lives. So, you know, we may call in the 4 directions, you know, with prayer and honor each direction and all the animals in each direction and all the elements in each direction. And it creates a sacred container for us then to start doing some deep healing work.
Yes. And then we teach them some beautiful sacred ceremony that is for healing around the sacred fire that we just call the directions for. And they also learn how to be supported by the group, the circle that we create, the container that we create. They learn to start to create the community, and that they can really feel supported with, and supported by, and to give support and love. Yeah.
That's one of the most transformative parts of it is the collective, right? The group
Absolutely.
and the group
Sure.
energy and being with
Absolutely.
like-minded souls of like-minded energy.
And
And
they actually wind up leaving the retreat and really holding on to those relationships.
I'm sure.
And it's a beautiful thing. It really is.
Yeah.
I think our rites of passage also are included in that. You know, we've, in our American culture, have some rites of passage, but a lot of them have disappeared from, you know, our way of living. So I feel that the retreats and the workshops give people an opportunity to partake in a rite of passage
Yes.
into adulthood, into
Mother role,
motherhood.
maiden role, or the crone role, and now we even have the queen role. I had this beautiful ceremony that my beautiful sisters created for me, bringing in the queen energy into my life in this age that I am. So there's a beautiful way of bringing in this new transitions in your life in a gentle and loving and sacred way. So this is what we're doing and helping people to
I love it.
to navigate that.
I love it. I love it. And I believe in the power of ritual, and it really is, because it's so directly experiential, expressing ourselves through these sacred actions, these intentional actions.
Yeah.
One of the things that you offer as well is a sweat lodge.
Yes.
So
Yes.
tell us what a sweat lodge is. Where did it originate? What's the purpose of a sweat lodge?
You got that one, David.
It's
You
all
just
yours.
Well, she just wrote an article about it in her newsletter.
I did. You can actually find it at wayofthesacred.com on the blog, and there's a whole article there. It's where to begin. There's so much that you can say about it. It's a Native American tradition, and it was created for purification and healing. And so if you or one of your family members had something that we wanted to pray about, the tribe would gather together in the sweat lodge, and we would offer prayers for that specific thing. Or maybe it's just for the world, or maybe it's just, for the whole community. But whatever it is, we would go into this dome shape. So they take saplings, these very young trees, and they bend them to create arcs. And they create the arcs all around to create a dome. And so in Native American culture, the turtle is actually considered a symbol of the earth.
It looks
Mother
like a turtle.
Earth.
You're making a turtle.
So we're making,
are.
the dome is actually the shell of the turtle, and then we create the sacred fire, and next to the sacred fire, between the dome and this fire, is a little mound of dirt, which becomes the altar. And we place our sacred objects there, and that becomes the head of the turtle. And then when we go into the sacred space that we made in the dome, in the sweat lodge, that becomes the Mother's Earth's womb. So we're actually going into the womb and purifying anything that is no longer needed, that's not sacred, that is not.
And that's through like actual sweating.
In sweating and prayers. And so we pray for it to be released. They bring in these big, beautiful, glowing hot stones and place them in a pit in the center. And then the water bearer will pour water and bless these stones with some sacred herbs. And then the steam rises and brings our prayers up to spirit. And so the steam brings our prayers up to Spirit as we pray, but it also cleanses, like you say, it cleanses our bodies, our physical body, but also our all four bodies, our emotional body, our mental body, and our spiritual body, so that when we come out of that sweat lodge, it's like we're being birthed. We're coming through the canal and coming out a brand new being. Wow. It's very beautiful.
And it's beautiful at the end. There's a receiving line of your sisters that were in that sweat lodge with you, and those that were holding space outside the sweat lodge as well. So even if you don't want to go in and do the actual sweating part, we hold space outside the sweat lodge with the participants, and then there's a receiving line where we all are silent and we all hug, and that's how you are greeted on your rebirth
and
with
we're also
love. You know?
So nurturing, right?
Yeah.
And supportive an experience to have. And so
Yeah.
primal.
Very,
very
primal and
primal.
powerful.
It's primal. So you're getting back into the relationship with the earth, and that's what we're all about. We also have a retreat in Mexico in the end of January, beginning of February, which we do it in a different way. We are going to do water ceremony. So it's almost like a baptism in a way of taking that ceremony into the water and releasing all the impurities, all the things that no longer serve us, and coming back out of the water fresh and newborn. So we do that in the waterfalls.
In the
jungle and on the beautiful pristine beaches of Jalapa, Mexico. So
that sounds incredible and so attractive.
It's very, very beautiful.
Yeah,
oh my
and if
gosh.
you really want to get out of the cold weather, it's in the end of January.
Yeah.
So
how's it getting any better than this?
Yeah. So I know that your music is a big part of what you do, and a big part of both your retreats and your workshops and your group gatherings. So just say a little bit about your sacred music and a bit about the kirtan you do and what role that plays in what you offer.
Yeah.
Sharon, our
I got this
longtime
You got
musician,
that
I
one.
guess you can start.
Well, it was interesting because Deva and I both are kirtan artists, and we both love devotional music in that way. And when we started collaborating with holding these Way of the Sacred Feminine retreats, we were like, gosh, you know, we could really use our own songs to teach people through song, which is what I do. You know, what are these sacred ceremonies about? And what is it about to be in sacred sisterhood together? What does that feel like? So when we were in Jalapa, Mexico last year on our retreat, afterwards, Deva and I stayed for another week, and we devoted that time to being creative.
Yes.
So she was writing, and I was, you know, writing as music, and then we're like, okay, well, let's write a song about our retreats. And so Sacred Sisterhood came up. Well, what does Sacred Sisterhood mean to you? You know, so we wrote it down in one words, like it means connection. You know, it means unity. Throw a couple, listening to each other,
supporting
you
each
know,
other. Yes.
holding a soul-to-soul connection. So we wrote all those words down, and then we formulated it into a song, and it's called Sisters.
So you're going to share that with
We're gonna
us.
share that
we're going to share that
on
one, and
our
we're
show.
also going to share our first collaboration, which took place in a river.
Yes.
In
the
Jacobsburg Park in
Yes.
Pennsylvania. So we were like, okay, well, what are we going to call all of these things that we're doing? And it was like, she said, the Way of the Sacred. And I said, no, just Way of the Sacred.
Yes.
So Way of the Sacred is it. Let's make a song that's like, what does that mean to be in Way of the Sacred?
Right.
Well, it means that you're listening to the stones, and you're listening to the trees, and you're answering the call to do deep work, to enlighten yourself and have a symbiotic relationship with the earth and with yourself. And so it's music that is tribal. It could be music that is, I write in many different genres. So Deva helps like write a lot of the lyrics, and then I kind of get inspired with a melody or a guitar, some kind of chord structure, and then we collaborate from there with some ideas.
Music with a message.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
This is
Love
what
it.
it is.
And every
love
time
it.
people come to our retreat, we always sing the same song to bless the food, you know, and so they get to know that song. And then we eventually before the end of the retreat, we're all singing the same song at the dinner table.
Yes.
And you're right that music opens people up.
Oh, yes.
So much beyond just talking about it. Music teaches, it opens doors, it makes people
Mm-hmm.
feel, and it has a frequency to it.
Yes.
So it is just one of the best tools that we have, of course.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I think it really helps people to drop out of their mind and into their heart.
Yeah.
And then once we're there, then we can express ourselves, you know, with each other, what our needs are and how we want to be supported.
So I hope people will check out your music and your calendar and all the wonderful things that you
Yep.
are doing, and I hope to participate in some of those myself.
I hope you do.
Yeah.
It would be wonderful.
And I just really want to acknowledge you because you're such wonderful examples of people who are following their bliss and really, really leaning into their purpose and really fulfilling that. And you're doing so much wonderful work in the world, and you're really blazing
Thank you.
blazing a trail for the rest of us. So
Oh,
Yes.
well,
Follow the way.
Follow the way, honor the way, lead in the way of the sacred.
thank you so much. Thank you both very much.
Thank you for having us.
And that's namaste.
Namaste
all the way. Woo!
2, 3, 4. Sister stokes the fire, sister beats a drum, sister calls on spirit, invoking the directions. She honors the elements, singing songs of love, bowing down to Mother, reaching the sky above. We are sisters, sisters, hey ho. 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 Sisters see each other as their true nature. Soul to soul connection, sacred the container. Listening to the guidance with our ears and hear, knowing beauty of the one spirit we revere. We are sisters, sisters, hey ho. 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 We gather with our sisters, we gather with our clan. We gather around the fire, dancing hand in hand. We gather with our sisters, we gather with our clan. We gather around the fire, dancing hand in hand. We are sisters, sisters, hey ho. 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 Medicine, medicine, raising our vibration. Medicine, medicine, to all the nations. Medicine, medicine, for all creation. Medicine, medicine, for our salvation. We are the way of the sacred. We are the way of the sacred. Follow the way, honor the way, lead in the way of the sacred. Follow the way, honor the way, lead in the way of the sacred.
Wrapping up another enlightening show. I hope we've inspired you to stand in your power and follow your bliss. Remember, you were born to actualize your highest potential. I wish you peaceful blessings. Om Shanti. Thank you for watching, and join me next time on Positive Energy.